You know, when things happen, you sort of get your priorities straight. And today, priorities should be straight for the situation. It's renewed optimism for us that as the purple power, we have a focus. And the focus is executive orders for stimulus checks. The president should have done executive orders for stimulus checks weeks ago. And ultimately, he should still do it. And we will keep pushing him to do second stimulus check, FPUC, hazard pay, and all those other things by executive order. By pushing him on social media and members of his staff to do stimulus relief now. Ironically, in a very strange turn of events this afternoon, in which a lot of us could be very pissed, but we're not going to be, we're going to be positive, the shutter, the closing, the ending of recess of the Senate, which means you cannot have stimulus relief by legislative, means that the only path to get your second stimulus relief is by the president. So will he do it? And finally, will he realize he needs to do it now? This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LALATE. I hope you're healthy, safe, and sane, and relaxed and calm, because I understand today is very unnerving. Understand, for me, this recording is made at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and the entire situation could change by 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's literally changing by the hour. I really appreciate your tweets, your private messages, and more, making sure that I don't miss any twists and turns, and certainly understand the timing of the recording. So if something changes and this is sort of different than then you have an understanding of when this was taped. Go to the front of this channel, subscribe, because who else is delivering you 4 hours of continuing coverage of the president, the stimulus relief, and the path to get you relief and finish line conclusion in this horrible pandemic. Also, like this video. As we start this afternoon, there's breaking news across the board. But there's also renewed focus and optimism for the purple power. And you know what that is. It's 2 words. Executive order. Executive order. It had been the path of focus for this channel upwards of 2 weeks ago, when we thought that really Steve and Nancy were just not going to get it done. We thought Congress was a waste of time for us, and we had always said, President, Mr. President, please send out the executive orders. And then we started pushing purple power. Mr. President, we're the purple power. Please send out executive orders. You need to send out executive orders. If you don't send out executive orders, then, why would we support you? Well, today we have a renewed sense of optimism. And ironically, the president is tweeting only this and much of nothing else except his health. Stimulus. It's times like this that we have to stand together as a family and say, Mr. President, do the executive orders for stimulus relief right now. So I urge you after you finish watching this video and the next 2 coming up after this, which will have a lot of big developments as well, to go on social media, go on Twitter, and start tagging the president with purple power and say stimulus relief. Send out executive orders for stimulus relief right now. We can't get it legislative anymore. The Senate is closed. What did I just say? Yes, the Senate is closed to October 19th. Minutes ago, Mitch McConnell, head of the Senate, announced that the Senate is in recess to October 19th. Now, I know a lot of you sort of laugh every time I said this before. It needs 2 houses of Congress to pass, but I'm going to say it again, because ultimately I always get those comments, and I ultimately see those people that do this on channels says, it passed, congratulations, you're getting a check tomorrow because it passed the House. Untrue. For a bill to pass and become law, it has to pass both the House and the Senate. And guess what? If one of them is closed, it doesn't become law. Yeah, Captain Obvious is walking through the set right now, but I just have to say that. And that's what happened today. Mitch McConnell initially did not want to close the Senate. I read his comments on Morning's LALATE, which clearly outdated now because that was recorded at about 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I repeated them on 14, which was recorded at about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and aired at 11. But Mitch McConnell should have issued a new statement minutes ago. The Senate is in recess to October 19th. So what does that mean about us? It means we're really back to where we were about 2 weeks ago. It's no longer about pass the problem solvers bill, because a bill is legislatively. It's no longer about seats for stimulus, because no one's going to be in their seats, literally. The Senate is closed. It is no longer about pushing one or the other. It's about executive orders. Now, I need to make something clear, because, this could certainly change by the hour. Here is analysis. Remember, we're dealing with fact, opinion, analysis, and third-party data. This is analysis. Steve and Nancy may continue to negotiate over the weekend by telephone. She may not have full access to her staff. She may not go into the office. He may not have full access to his staff. She may not have access to her subcommittee chairs that she defaults to for doing analysis of numbers. They may not have access to the computers to do analysis of numbers. So ultimately, we don't know how much work Steve and Nancy can do now that the situation's unfolding very quickly. So to the extent that we want to push our social media campaign on Steve and Nancy and say, get it done, we can, but the focus is really executive orders. Executive orders. And if you saw the tail end of the video right before this, I wanted to make something very clear, because it's a lot of confusing developments today. An executive order at this point would help you, because you would get your stimulus check. You would get your other things that you need. But it will not help this president. It's too late. Because of the timing. Today is October 3rd, October 2nd. Today's October 2nd. And so when would you possibly get your stimulus relief if you did it by executive order? Well, Steve Mnuchin always said that comment. The Treasury can send it out electronically within 10 days after it becomes law by executive order. Okay, that's when, you have a full staff. No one's at home because of COVID-19, racing concerns among the staff members. Nothing is shut down, that there's no processing slowed because of the White House and the president. Let's just assume that. And let's assume the president did executive order today, which is a Saturday. Well, that coming Monday, you would add 10 days to that. Ultimately, you might not get your stimulus check before you vote for who's president. You may or may not, but it's a little bit too close. And so the benefit the president would have gotten had he sent out your stimulus check last month to get a bump on the polls, he would have gotten very clear. Now it is more likely than not, he will not get the benefit of giving you an executive order for stimulus relief in the way he would have done it had he done it before. Opinion. This is why I said he should have done it for his own sake a long time ago. But ultimately is relief that you need. So as we sit here for hazard pay, we sit here for everything that this video usually is about in this time slot, the $10,000, essential workers, all those things. How are those impacted by you? This is where things get very complicated, so let me slow it down for you. The situation of the federal government has nothing to do with your hazard pay on a local level. And you still can get hazard pay on a local level. I'll be getting to that in 1 second. So let me finish up with the stimulus relief. So will the president do executive order for stimulus relief? I think he should. I think he could. Opinion. Will he? We have no facts about it. So you need to be on social media and push. Now is the time to really push. Everyone in the White House administration, to the extent that they, are doing well and healthy and can see your tweets, you need to pushing them with purple power and the strongest force you have. Executive order. Stimulus checks, FPUC. Let's do it. Stop waiting around for all the permutations of Nancy and Steve and Mitch. Get it done. It should not have gone this long. And that's why we're sort of in the predicament as you are right here. You know what it's like? It's like when you're packing a bag to go on a vacation and you wait to the 11th hour to pack the bag and then you realize, it doesn't fit. Well, had you packed the bag a week earlier, you might have realized the bag didn't fit. Or you might have realized that the bag's zipper was broken. Or you might have realized the bag was too small. But waiting till the last second was not a good strategic move by this president. Hopefully, he turns it around and does it by executive order. Let me turn to local money. Because remember, as I sit here with you, my focus of this channel is to get you money. And I don't really care, and I don't think you do either, where the money comes from. So the fact that the president's sick does not mean you're not going to get enhanced unemployment benefits from your state. The state has nothing to do with the president. The fact that the president's sick means nothing about whether you can get hazard pay locally from your city, county, or private employer. So let me go over that as well. There's $150 billion CARES Act 1 money that is still locally in cities, counties, and states across the country. And those cities and counties have to spend the money right now, and they're spending it on hazard pay, rent, stimulus checks, and food. So you need to be on Google News and looking up those words, your city plus rent, or your city, county plus rent. You may want to add the word CARES Act to it and look for that as well, so you will learn when things went live. This is an incredible amount of money, and it's available now and is being announced now because of use or lose. They have to use the money or it goes back to the federal government. And a lot of viewers have been thanking me left and right every single day, saying, thank you, LALATE. I found this because of you. I got the application in. I got money. Thank you. I want you to understand that's the city and the county. Then there's the private employer. You need to have discussions with your private employer, and you need to have discussions with the union that is closest to what you do. If you, for example, work in a liquor store that's not unionized, then reach out to the grocery union in your area. Say, hey, this is the situation. I work at a grocery store. I'm a frontline worker. I'm not getting bonus pay or hazard pay. Can you help me? And they may help you. Because ultimately, they are the loudest and most effective group currently to getting hazard pay. I'm the one that's most effective in telling you about hazard pay, but they're the most effective one in getting hazard pay. Those grocery unions and those medical unions across the country are having protests daily to get people their hazard pay, and it's working. Let me answer some of your 780 questions from yesterday before all these things were unfolding, and I'll get more back to the details. George is sending prayers to my president. Glodina is showing prayers to my president. Samuel, good afternoon for Arizona. I remain optimistic because I understand these political animals and they're being arranged by the public to the extent. I also know that the U.S. Senate is in some predicament. I believe the president is behind passing of a bill. Good. So there you go. One of the viewers thinks that it will come by executive order. I got to remind you that, it was upwards of 2 weeks ago that all the viewers of this channel thought Congress is sort of a waste of time, and it's going to go by executive order. Paula Holcomb, seems believing God bless the president's family. Ava, God bless all the Purple Power people. Amen. Antonia, always here. Phyllis, I put the president on my prayer list. Michelle, thoughts and prayers for the president. Hanka, we are like on needles now, just waiting for the moment to get our money. And Tria, Wells, prayers go out to our president. Ashley, Mnuchin talking to Senate members as well as privately, getting Republicans on board, a higher number. Okay, that comment was 19 hours ago, and that comment makes me very nervous. If Mnuchin was talking in person with Senate Republicans, I'm now worried. Remember, Mnuchin was tested negative yesterday, and Pelosi was tested negative yesterday. Both have been in the presence of one another, physical presence of one another in the last few days. And Mnuchin was in the presence of the president in the Oval Office midweek this week. So I'm really worried that Mnuchin, as to which Senate members Mnuchin was around. Tim, hello everybody. Lisa, I can't wait to hear when it's done. Helen, Fire Nancy, Margie, the bill for the airlines. What about the others? Janice, Lord, we need a check. Beverly, it's just awful. Andy, getting so close. It's been 3 weeks. Sally, President Trump can still do executive order for the hospital. I love that. Amen. Christina, prayers for the Trump and the First Lady. A speedy recovery. I love this channel. Everyone understands the situation because I've slowly guided you through the educational process. I get your DMs where you say, LA, can you explain this to me? How does this work? And I love this because you now understand the president can do executive orders. He has the money. He has the legal authority. He has the desire to do it. and he has the physical health ability to do it. He can do executive orders inside of Walter Reed. It's a working office of the president. He does not need to be in his Oval Office to become a law. He can write a law, an executive order, when he's in the bunker of a bailout of a bunker somewhere in the middle of the United States. If there's an act of war, presidents can do anything at any time at any place, and so he does not need to be in the White House. He also does not need to, write it in paper and hand the paper to a person. We're far beyond that electronically. So the incredible great news is that he can do it. The hope now is that he does. And so as you sit here today, I understand the situation is really unfolding. And this is why I really appreciate the Purple Power community. When I started this, people would sometimes say, oh, just tell me when the check's in my bank account. Well, imagine that person that's sitting back and saying, just tell me when the check is in my bank account. I think that person has now woken up and understand the Senate's closed, the president's sick. You need to be a little bit more engaged in the story than just saying, tell me when it's in my bank account. Because ultimately, it's a very unusual circumstance. And we're going to get through it together. And being passive in the situation and not active, not being purple rather than being, what's the antithesis of purple? Black? Negative? It doesn't work. Optimism and positivity works. So go to the French channel, subscribe. Subscribe to the vast community that really keeps you informed through thick or thin, through high and low. We'll get through this together. Also like this video. Coming up next is unemployment benefits, which have absolutely nothing to do with what happens in the federal government. It's state. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA.